With Superman dead, many individuals are claiming to be Superman. So what's gonna happen? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today we're going to be covering the first arc within the Action Comics storyline, Action Comics 957 to 962. Something has changed within the DC universe. Superman died. This has left a void within Metropolis, as they are now searching for their new champion, their new hero. And you know who thinks that he would be good for this role? Lex Luthor. He will be the Superman that Metropolis deserves. Lex Luthor has everything under control, but he isn't the only man who feels that he has a right to the Superman title. Yes, Superman died, but another version of Superman is living on this world. The Superman who died was going by the name of Clark Kent, and he lived here his whole life, in what is called the Earth of New 52. We also have a Clark White. He is a Superman from a time before a Flashpoint, before the New 52. He lived a full life on his world, and then moved here with his wife Lois Lane and son Jonathan to this world after the events of Convergence. Even though he has chosen to stay out of the world's eyesight, he knows he can't allow Lex Luthor to become the new Superman. It's time for him to take up the mantle. Lex Luthor stands over the people of Metropolis, telling them that as a member of the Justice League, he was proud to work alongside Superman, and is in awe at his ultimate sacrifice. He is even honored to have called him a friend. But rest assured, people of Metropolis, I am here to let you know that you are safe. Your Superman is here. You're not Superman, Lex. I am. The real Superman says, hovering near him. Lex looks up at this new Superman, angry. You aren't him. He's dead. While all of Metropolis and the two Supermen are distracted, though, there's a heist going on for a top secret coffin. On the current version of Superman's homeworld, the pre-New 52 world, Lex Luthor was a villain and his arch enemy. But here, Lex Luthor has proven himself a hero time and time again. And he tells Lex, I know you're evil, a murderer, an agent of destruction, and I'm not going to stand by here while you wear that shield on your chest. X looks him in the eye. Meritless charges and wild accusations. You're clearly mistaking me for someone else. No, I am the only one who knows who you really are. Lex reaches out his hand. You clearly have the wrong impression of me, sir. I suggest we go somewhere and we talk. Right after you take off that symbol and cape. Never. You had your chance, Superman says, reaching out to tear the symbol off of his chest, but an automated defense system then goes off, shocking Superman. So, Superman cracks Lex into the building nearby. Same old Luthor. Lex pulls guns out of his arms and he tells the civilians to get to safety, and he opens fire on Superman, which he easily deflects. Your violent response proves just who you are, Lex. Then Superman grapples with him, trying to tear the symbol off again, making it appear as though I attacked you. Tricky as ever, Lex. Lex struggles against the Man of Steel. That's exactly what you did. Then he uses an energy blast from the symbol to push Superman away. I'm Superman now! And he blasts Superman into a nearby building. To make things even more confusing for you, Jimmy has been taking photos and is in shock at another individual who has arrived. Clark Kent, the reporter, and he's curious as to who this new Superman is as well. Lex turns to the reporters and sees Clark and is in shock again. Kent as well? Dead men walking seems to be a common thread all of a sudden. Back at Clark White's home though, the alias of the new Superman, both Lois and his son Jonathan are slightly curious as to who the Clark Kent is as well. But while Superman and Lex are having their battle over who the new Superman will be, and a seemingly normal Clark Kent is watching the event with a confused Jimmy Olsen, those men that were trying to steal something were told by a hooded man from a remote location to open up the coffin, and they did. And that's when we discover that Superman isn't the only thing to come from his world from the pre-Flashpoint universe. We also have Doomsday! Superman looks at him. My God, it can't be. In a single swing, Doomsday throws Lex clear of the scene, and Clark Kent, the reporter, tells Jimmy to record this while Superman swoops in, barreling into Doomsday's chest. Our hooded man watches from his remote location, happy with how much data he'll be retrieving today. And from their home, Lois is concerned because the last time Superman fought Doomsday, he died. Doomsday grabs Superman by the throat and he throws him into a building nearby before jumping to follow up. But as he's about to land on Superman, Lex gets in front of the impact and hits Doomsday back. Superman tells Lex, we need to get him away from here. And Lex tells him, you can shove this piece of trash into the sewers, it's isolated. While Lex is throwing everything he has at Doomsday, it's not working. And Doomsday is ignoring it and begins to charge at Lex. So Superman rockets in. This is a job for Superman. He takes Doomsday up into the sky with hopes of bringing him into space where there is no atmosphere. But as he's rising higher and higher, Doomsday is using his sheer force to hit Superman in the head over and over. And eventually he positions Superman's head into a spot where he knees him in the mouth, drawing blood. Clark and Jimmy watch from the ground, scared at the fact that Doomsday is winning and he's apparently stronger than Superman. Superman and Doomsday begin to fall back to Earth, so they continue to swing at each other in freefall until Doomsday grabs Superman and throws him into another building. On the ground, Jimmy tells Clark to fly up there and help them, and Clark informs him, "That's not me, Jimmy. I'm just Clark Kent." With so much destruction going on across the city, Lex flies as fast as he can, saving all of the civilians all over until he sees Doomsday break a monorail track. Even Jimmy and Clark have to admit, if Lex can save an entire train of people, he is Superman. Lex sees the train falling and he realizes he's going to miss it by a second, but Superman catches it and tells Lex to take the train while he finishes off Doomsday. But Lex knows what has to happen. Superman has to save these people and someone needs to distract Doomsday, so Lex heads over to Doomsday. Superman realizes that he only has minutes until Doomsday beats Lex to death, so he tries to save as many as he can, but it only took seconds for Doomsday to tear open Lex's suit and grasp him by the head. Meanwhile, back at the house of Superman, Lois is terrified and tears are rolling down her face as she holds Jonathan close and doesn't allow him to watch the television. She explains to John that this man is very, very bad, and then he asks, "Did Dad fight him before?" And she tells him, "He did." And John asks, "Were you there too?" "I was." "So it worked out. Can I watch the television again?" Meanwhile, at the battle, Lex is managing to get free, but he's beaten and battered, and he's pulling himself away from Doomsday. "I just need a little more time." But Superman comes back and telling him, "I'll take it from here, Luthor. I softened him up for you." Superman grabs Doomsday and begins to wail on him again, realizing that this is the Doomsday that killed him, meaning he can't hold back anymore. Lex, meanwhile, pulls a box out of his suit of armor, the device powering it, a mother box from the Darkseid War. And he tells himself, "I'll use this and I'll be able to rejoin this fight." But back with Superman, Doomsday grabs a car and throws it at nearby civilians, only to have Superman crush him from behind, shoving him into the sewers. The reporter Clark Kent also slips into the sinkhole that was created, and he lands, breaking his arm. He turns to Superman fighting Doomsday and he tells him, "I think I broke my arm." So Superman tells him, "I'll do what I can to get you to safety. Save me like you did before?" Superman gets ready to swing again, telling Clark, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Months ago, when you sent me into hiding, I want to help you, but I have no idea what you're talking about." Even as Superman continues his struggle with Doomsday, Clark persists. "Quit playing the mystery man, you owe me answers. I could say the same to you." Lex then hovers back over, and while he wants to rejoin the fight, Superman tells him to get the civilians to safety. While at first Lex fights about it, he agrees and begins to get Clark out of the sewers, while Superman jumps back in to give the full force of his strength to Doomsday. Then he follows it up with a full heat blast, except he accidentally ignited a gas line and the block explodes. Everyone stands worried, looking into the crater that was made, and they see Doomsday walking out, and he walks forward, seeing Clark Kent, and he prepares to bury the mystery man, only to have Wonder Woman come out of nowhere, catch him, and save him. Clark asks her what she's doing here, and she asks Clark, "I could say the same to you." She puts him down and tells him to get some medical attention, while behind them, Superman comes out of the crater and slams Doomsday. He begins to punch Doomsday at rapid fire with super speed. Picked this one up from the Flash. 3,272 blows and counting. 4,034, 4,035, and then Doomsday catches him and goes to punch him, but Wonder Woman stops his fist. "Good to see you too, Diana." "You too. This day is full of surprises." Superman catches a bus. "Are you referring to the man claiming to be Clark Kent? I don't know how you did it, but it's effective. I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. I have no idea who or what he is." Wonder Woman then stops a truck being thrown at her with her shield, and Superman crashes the bus into Doomsday. Back at home, Superman's son John sees this on TV and he jumps up. Yes! But something about that yell got Doomsday's attention all the way out in Metropolis, and he begins to walk away from the battle with Superman stating, "Years." As Superman looks around, Wonder Woman informs him that Doomsday left. The Superman finds himself confused. Doomsday never flees from a fight, and Lex floats over demanding to know what's going on. Superman explains that Doomsday is a genetic creation murdered over and over so that it would learn to adapt and survive anything. It was built to hunt and kill Kryptonians. It can even sense them. And that's when Superman puts it together. John, with a whoosh, he takes off at top speed. Wonder Woman launches after him, asking what's going on. And Superman explains that Doomsday may be able to sense his son, and that's why he left. Meanwhile, back at the estate of Superman, Lois had a feeling that this may be the case as well, and she's currently speeding down the streets trying to get away from where John yelled, until Superman stops the car explaining, "I have you." They have a tearful reunion and an awkward hello to Wonder Woman before, BAM! They see him. Wonder Woman begins to battle with Doomsday, and Superman tells Lois to get Jonathan out of here. Doomsday is trying his best to bury Wonder Woman, but she swings back at him, claiming, "I have fought stronger still!" And he kicks her across the field. As Superman swings a tree at him, he tells Wonder Woman to get his family to safety. They go back and forth with Doomsday, always gaining the upper hand on Superman, slamming him into the ground. So Wonder Woman goes back to the battle, wrapping Doomsday up in her lasso of truth. It should be unbreakable, but it doesn't stop Doomsday Doomsday from flinging her around on the end of it. Then using it, he begins to wrap it around Superman's neck until John blasts Doomsday with his heat vision. Doomsday turns to John, but Superman looks at him. "Don't you touch my son!" And he knocks him out of the park. Superman gives Lois a kiss, and he gets back into the battle, flying in, blasting his heat vision at Doomsday. Then as he's in the ground, Superman keeps punching him, and Doomsday throws him into the sky. Furious, Doomsday gets angrier and angrier until yellow beams begin to blast him out of nowhere. A military-style unit has arrived out of nowhere with a technology that Superman has never seen before. These new players to the game begin to put a contraption around Doomsday, seemingly trapping him into a teleporter of some kind until he knees one of them in the stomach, tearing them apart, and he pulls himself out. Superman comes back, taking Doomsday far, far away from here. He has no idea who those potential captors were, but they bought him the time that he needed, and they weakened Doomsday. Superman then, using Doomsday's own momentum, launches him halfway around the world and into Superman's own fortress that he created when he couldn't get into the Fortress of Solitude. The base begins to open fire on Doomsday, weakening him while it charges up Superman's secret weapon, and he tries his best to stall Doomsday, but he can't do it. Even weakened, Doomsday is too much until Wonder Woman returns to help. Superman uses that chance to grab the charged item, and then he blasts Doomsday into the Phantom Zone. And Superman wins the day again, showing the world that he is in fact the new Superman and he is here to save them. He thanks Wonder Woman for her help, and while this isn't the Superman that she dated, she thanks him back and tells him, "It was an honor to fight by your side once more." Then he goes to Metropolis, where he takes Lex to the Daily Planet, which Lex owns now, to ask him, "Why do you wear the old Superman symbol? Your predecessor was an inspiration to all of us, Superman. The cape, the shield, they mean something to people, but it's only a starting point. Metropolis needs to be inspired again by a human being who can show them how to rise above. Recent events have shown this city won't survive with us at odds, so that makes us allies? Not yet, Luthor." Superman then goes to the Watchtower, where Wonder Woman moved Lois and Jonathan for safety. Lois welcomes him back with open arms, and everything's okay for now. Except the cloaked figure intercepted the Phantom Zone teleporter and now has Doomsday as his prisoner. That's the conclusion to the first Superman arc, and oh my god, did they come out with a bang! DC Rebirth launched this, and I was so excited and on the edge of my seat with each issue, and I hope you enjoyed this. It was a crazy exciting story. Follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian, and we can talk about this, or follow me on Instagram so you can see comic book panels as I get them.